Yo, what's going on, everybody? This is Dylan Talk Sports. My name is Dylan. In this video, what we're going to be discussing is, if you haven't heard the news already, Kalen Deboer, the former coach of the Washington Huskies, is now going to be announced as the Alabama head coach. The news already kind of broke a couple days ago, but what I wanted to do in this video is I kind of want to give my opinion, my reaction to how I think this is going to work out. Do I think this is the right decision for Kalen Deboer to be the new head coach of Alabama, replacing the legacy of Nick Saban? Nick Saban, great head coach, probably the greatest college football coach of all time, and Kalen Deboer is going to have some big shoes to fill. There's been some people saying, is this really the right move? He's kind of just bailing on Washington. I'm going to explain why that's not the case and why it's actually a smart thing that he kind of bails now. He's going to be going to Alabama with a lot of recruits. He's got like an open canvas of what he can do with Alabama. I think he's going to do great, but like I said, I'm going to give my opinion and just over my overall reaction to how I think this is all going to play out at Alabama in this video. But without further ado, we're going to get straight into this. So if you go on to enjoy, as always, make sure you go and drop a like on today's video. Be very much appreciated if you do so. And without further ado, let's get into it. Okay, so as you can see here, there's an ESPN article kind of talking about Kalen Deboer being announced as the new head coach of Alabama. If you want to go check this out and completely read it completely for yourself, like I said, I'll put a link in the description, so if you want to go check it out for yourself, read it on your own time, feel free to do so. We're not going to be reading the entire thing. We're just going to be kind of going through, talking about some important points I kind of want to hit on. I do also want to point out, I already have a video out talking about my reaction to Nick Saban retiring from Alabama and him leaving college football for good. So if you want to see that video, I'll put a link up there so you guys can check it out if you want to go check that video for yourself. But at the time of recording this, the news is officially official. They already had the press conference. Kalen Deboer already met with the team. He already had his press conference. Nick Saban was actually there at the press conference. It was kind of awkward if you ask me, but Nick Saban was sitting right there front row. Kalen Deboer was kind of speaking to the press, speaking to the media, kind of talking about some of the points and things that he wants to bring to Alabama, things that he's going to be able to continue the legacy of Alabama, not really having a drop off, because everybody thought when Nick Saban retired, is there going to be a drop-off? Is this team going to recede from being a top 4 team all the time, being the top of the SEC? Are they going to drop off and be like a middle-of-the-pack SEC team now? Kalen Deboer pretty much made it known, I am coming in here to make us still beat Alabama. Now, I do want to point out something that is said right here. Deboer, whenever he was leaving Washington, athletic director says right here, athletic director Troy Dannon made an aggressive pitch to keep Deboer with a new contract that would have made him one of the top 10 highest paid coaches in FBS, more than doubled his annual salary of $4.2 million, sources told ESPN's Pete Thamel. The thing that kind of sucks is it says that he's going to have to owe Washington $12 million for a buyout after signing his 2-year contract extension through 2028 last in November. And then I want to point out something that the athletic director of Alabama did point out. It says right here, quote, Alabama athletic director Greg Byrne, I think is how you say it, said in a statement, quote, one of the things I told our team the other day is we are going to get someone who is not only a great coach with the X's and O's, but also someone who cares about his players and someone I want my sons to play for, just like I would have wanted them to play for Coach Saban. We got that in Coach Deboer. He is ready to get to work, and we look forward to him leading the Alabama Crimson Tide football program for years to come, quote. Now, like I said earlier on, the one thing about Washington's coach, Kalen Deboer, why he is leaving Washington, and it's kind of obvious for those of you who have not kind of seen, I guess you could say, the NFL draft eligible players, the transfer people. Washington is taking a big hit this offseason. I don't have it in front of me, but I know off the top of my head, Michael Penix Jr., the quarterback, he's a senior. He's going to the NFL or graduating, one of the two. Their running back, I think Johnson, he's going to be graduating or at least entering the NFL draft. Their receivers, all 3 of them, Aduze, and the other 2, I forget the names, but they're all, I already seen it, they are all draft eligible. They're all going into the NFL draft. I think their best offensive lineman, one of their offensive linemen, is a 4-star recruit. He played with Washington last year. Played every single game, did not miss a single start, and he's already entering the transfer portal, so that's taking another hit. And then I've seen some defensive players, they already have 1 or 2 guys already entering the NFL draft, and then a couple of players are already entering the transfer portal. So that team is just getting hit. And I think Kalen Deboer kind of saw that, and he said, do I really want to have to go in and rebuild this team once again? I already did it once, but the thing is, you see other teams, oh yeah, they rebuild, they have a lot of great players go to the NFL, but then they just rebuild and they just retune the team, get new stars in there. Washington is taking a huge hit. And now with the possibility of him being able to go to Alabama, you're hearing me correct, Alabama, with all the recruits there waiting to be coached. They all are going in there expecting to be coached by Nick Saban. Now they're going to be coached by Kalen Deboer. How are they going to take it? Are they going to take it lightly? Are they going to take it heavily? Are they going to want to transfer out? That's going to be questionable to see going forward. I didn't say it on here, but I kind of said it to myself about a couple days ago, and I was wondering, how are the players going to react? Are they going to, when they saw Nick Saban getting or announcing that he was retiring, I said in that video, like I said, the video when I talked about Nick Saban retiring, like I said, Go check it out. I said in that video, are the players, when they see this news, are they going to all just want to transfer out? And so far, we've seen a few players from Alabama already transferring out. A couple of receivers, a couple of corners, I think a D lineman, an offensive lineman. A couple of them they're just jumping ship. And if you ask me, I don't blame them, because it's like, a lot of the times you look at a school, it's like, oh yeah, I want to go play for this school because maybe I grew up a fan of them, or I want to go coach, or I want to go play at this school because I like maybe the D line coach, or the O line coach, or the safeties coach, or the receivers coach, quarterback coach, whatever it may be. When it comes to Alabama, the guys wanted to go play there because they wanted to be coached by Nick Saban. They probably couldn't give a shit about Alabama. They gave a shit about it was Nick Saban. Now with Kalen Deboer, what does he bring? I think he brings a very smart offensive mind. He's really good with the offensive play calling. He can get the guys in good positions. It's been told that if he can get in there, maybe Jalen Milroe, if he was still there. I think I've heard reports saying Jalen Milroe might actually be transferring out. I'm not 100% sure on that. But from the reports I've seen, he is entering the transfer portal. So he's going to have some work to do. He's going to have to, if that is true, he's going to have to get a new quarterback in there. You're going to have some receivers already transferring out. He's going to have a lot of work to do. I think as long as he can get some decent recruits in there, he has some decent players to work with. The defense is always going to be good, I think. As long as the coordinators that Alabama or Nick Saban kind of left behind for Kalen Deboer are doing the right jobs, I think they can still keep that defense playing hard, playing good. It's the question of how's the offense going to look. Because it seems like with Alabama, they were always so good whenever they had Nick Saban's defenses just pummeling teams from like the early 2000s or late 2000s to like the early 2010s. Then we hit a rough patch, and it's like, I want to say 2016 and 2017-ish until about now. They've just been all offense, no defense. Here in the past year or two, their offense has been struggling and their defense has still been struggling. Now, I will say this. I think Deboer is going to have some success with Alabama. I'm not saying he's going to go out there and win a national title this year, but I will say this. He's had a couple of different teams he's coached at in the past. He's been a head coach a couple of different times besides Washington, and he's had some good success. He's had winning records. He's beaten other teams in bowl games. He's done some great things in college football. I'm going to wrap it up by kind of saying this. I think Kalen Deboer is going to do a good job at Alabama. Not a great job, not an amazing job, a good job. I think he's going to do good. I think it's going to be a setback. Alabama fans, you need to lower your expectations, I think, for this season. Don't go into the season expecting to win the SEC title game, go to the playoffs, and go back to the national championship this year just because that Nick Saban's gone. If you really appreciate Nick Saban and you think of him as a god, you're going to need to realize if Nick Saban couldn't get that team to the national championship last year, what the fuck's Kalen Deboer going to do? And I realize Kalen Deboer got to the national championship this past season, but look at the roster he had compared to your roster. His roster was a little bit better than yours, if you ask me. So going forward with Kalen Deboer, like I said, if I had to give it a prediction, I'm going to say 9-3, 10-2 record. And that very well could, a 10-2 record could very well still get this team into the playoffs with the 12-team playoff seedings coming this season. So a 10-2 record could get them in. 9-3 might push them out. So it's going to be interesting to see kind of how the season goes. And the one report I do have a question on, is Nick Saban still going to be involved with the team in some way in the recruiting process? Because Nick Saban came out and said, yes, I'm retiring. Yes, I'm done coaching in Alabama. But could he still be kind of involved with the university? Could he still be a little bit there, kind of how you see Coach K from Duke involved with Duke, or Roy Williams involved with North Carolina in the college basketball scene? Could Nick Saban still kind of just be there around the facility, around the team, with the athletic director, just kind of hanging out, helping the players in some sort of way, but just not on the coaching level? Or is Nick Saban just completely done and the reports are incorrect and he's just going to go chill at his home in Florida with his wife and just enjoy retirement? I think that's the biggest question mark going into this season. But like I said, Kalen Deboer, great hire. I think he'll do great. I think he's going to be a fun coach to watch this season. He's not going to be Nick Saban level coaching, but I think he's going to have his own twist on things. And I think the players are going to have some trouble adjusting to a Deboer system versus a Saban system, because Saban is very strict. He's very minute with the details, and he wants to get the ever-living slightest juice of talent out of you. With Deboer, he's going to take it a little bit slower, I think. I haven't really seen anything from behind the scenes of what he's like as a coach, but he seems a little bit different from what Saban was. So, like I said, it's going to be a fun offseason with Alabama and see how they look. As well as Washington. Like I said, this is more of an Alabama video, but with Washington, they're going to look very different next year as well. But other than that, I think I'm going to wrap it up there. Hopefully you guys did go on to enjoy today's video. If you did enjoy, make sure you go ahead and drop a like on today's video. Be very much appreciative if you do so. If you stayed to watch the entirety of today's video, thank you very much. And you want to go ahead and leave your opinion on the whole Kalen Deboer hire, Alabama, down in the comment section down below. Feel free to do so. Like I said, I think he'll be a good hire. If you disagree or agree with me on what you think about Kalen Deboer being the new head coach at Alabama, if you think it's a good idea, bad idea, what you think about Nick Saban retiring, like I said, any of your opinions or anything you have to say about the whole thing, leave it in the comment section down below. Be more than welcome to talk about with you guys. If you're a fan of the content that I do post here and you want to go ahead and hit that big red subscribe button, feel free to do so, and do not forget to hit that little notification bell to be notified the second I post. But without further ado, this has been Talk Sports. Have a great day. Peace.